Airgun leadership is not measured by how many rifles a country can ship. A nation can dominate production and still depend on ideas developed somewhere else. Another can have a handful of brands yet reshape how the industry designs valves, barrels, triggers, and electronic controls. That difference matters. If you judge these countries by sales alone, you miss where the technology begins, who can manufacture it, and which industries force competitors to change direction. For this ranking, we weighed manufacturing depth, innovation, brand strength, export reach, and influence across PCP rifles, spring piston systems, competition platforms, and big-bore air guns. The result is not a list of the largest consumer markets. It is a comparison of the countries that contribute the most to the machines themselves. Some win through precision, others win through affordability, modular design, digital control, or supply chain power. And the country with the biggest market does not take the crown. We begin at the base with an industrial giant whose influence is hidden behind other brands. Number 7 is China, the industrial backbone that many airgun buyers use without ever seeing its name on the receiver. China earns this position through supply chain depth rather than one dominant premium brand. Its factories produce spring piston rifles and PCP platforms, but their reach extends far beyond guns. High-pressure compressors, scopes, red dots, machined fittings, valves, reservoirs, and other components can all move through Chinese OEM and ODM networks before appearing under labels based elsewhere. That makes the country's influence larger than its visible brand presence suggests. Automation changed the role of this industry. China began as a source of low-cost air guns and copied mechanical patterns, then moved steadily toward more capable PCP production. Modern machining makes it possible to turn out pressure-bearing parts and repeatable assemblies at a scale that smaller manufacturing countries struggle to match. For buyers, the practical effect is lower entry cost. A compressor that once made PCP ownership feel like a specialist investment can now be purchased alongside the rifle, opening the category to far more shooters. The same scale supports optics and replacement parts, which helps other manufacturers control retail prices and keep product lines in circulation. It also creates dependency. When Chinese factories or shipping routes slow down, brands in North America and Europe can face shortages even when their final assembly happens locally. China's limitation is visibility. Its OEM and component capacity is vast, but few Chinese names define elite competition rifles, electronic valve control, or proprietary barrel systems in this ranking. Scale proves manufacturing power. It does not automatically prove leadership in original design, long-term service, or premium brand trust. That is why China opens the ranking instead of finishing near the top. It makes much of the modern airgun economy possible, especially at affordable prices, but its greatest influence often works behind the scenes. The country at number 1 represents the reverse formula, where precision engineering and recognizable manufacturers matter more than anonymous volume. The next country now pairs aggressive pricing with visible export brands and a reputation for high-output PCP rifles. Number 6 is Turkey, the country that turned high-powered PCP rifles from premium equipment into products far more shooters could afford. Its advantage begins with vertical integration. Turkish manufacturers can draw on a strong domestic metalworking base, skilled labor, locally sourced walnut, and in-house production. When a company controls stocks, barrels, pressure components, and final assembly within the manufacturing system, it reduces dependence on expensive imported parts. That cost structure lets Turkish brands offer large reservoirs, substantial power, repeating actions, and full-sized hunting configurations at prices that often sit well below premium Western European competitors. Hatsan represents the muscular side of this industry. Its PCP rifles are built around steel-intensive construction, high energy output, and practical hunting use. Rather than chasing minimum weight, the goal is a substantial rifle that gives the buyer plenty of hardware for the money. Kral Arms broadens the picture. Its catalog moves between traditional sporter layouts and compact bullpup designs such as the puncher breaker, with both walnut and synthetic stock options. That variety matters in export markets because one production base can serve buyers who want a familiar hunting rifle, as well as shooters who prefer a shorter package around a full-length barrel. Reximex adds another export name, reinforcing that Turkey is no longer represented by a single manufacturer. The country's scale and favorable production costs have made it a serious supplier across Europe, North America, and other price-sensitive markets. More importantly, this pressure changed the competition. Established brands could no longer treat PCP ownership as an exclusively high-end category. Once Turkish rifles began offering greater power and more equipment at attainable prices. The trade-off is refinement. This industry is strongest when the buyer prioritizes output, durable materials, configuration choice, and value. It is less clearly established as a leader in electronic valve control, highly modular barrel systems, or the extreme machining refinement associated with the countries near the top of this ranking. That does not erase its achievement. It explains why Turkey reaches number 6 but stops here. The next country changes the strategy again. It combined mass production with recognizable consumer brands and made spring-powered airguns accessible on an international scale. Number 5 is Spain, the country that made modern airguns easier to manufacture, easier to distribute, and more accessible to ordinary shooters. Spain's strength is commercialization. While others pursue expensive specialist rifles, Spanish manufacturers built large product families for new shooters, recreation, pest control, and hunting. Gamo leads that approach, supported by established names such as Norica and Cometa. Together, they give Spain more than a single specialist brand. Spanish engineering also helped push gas ram technology into the mainstream. Gamo's IGT system replaces a steel mainspring with a sealed gas cylinder. Removing the coil changes the firing cycle, reduces the mechanical behavior associated with spring vibration, and eliminates coil spring fatigue. For the owner, that can mean greater consistency, with fewer concerns about a spring remaining compressed or weakening over time. Material choices support the same commercial strategy. Synthetic stocks, protective barrel coverings, standardized components, and automated assembly at scale help produce airguns that tolerate regular field use while controlling production costs. They lack the glamour of electronic valves, but they matter when serving buyers across multiple continents and price levels. Gamo's ownership of BSA also shows how Spain expanded beyond domestic factories. The relationship combines Spanish scale and distribution with British barrel making and PCP expertise. The distinction matters, however. When a BSA PCP is manufactured at Armory Road in Birmingham, its cold hammer forged barrel and final production belong to the British manufacturing story, not the Spanish one. Spain deserves credit for corporate reach and supply chain coordination, but not for placing every technical achievement under its own flag. That boundary explains both Spain's strength and its limitation. It excels at turning proven ideas into widely available products, especially spring-powered and gas ram rifles. It is less dominant in elite match platforms, electronic control systems, or the highly modular PCP architecture that defines several countries above it. Spain reaches number 5 because manufacturing development is not only about inventing the most advanced rifle, it is also about producing dependable designs at a scale and price the global market can absorb. With the next country, emphasis moves away from mass-market spring guns and toward a huge consumer base, specialized hunting platforms, and the rise of extreme big-bore power. Number 4 is the United States, the world's largest airgun consumer market and the industry that pushed big-bore PCP power further into the mainstream. American manufacturing followed different incentives from Germany and Britain. Rather than focusing entirely on efficiency under tight energy limits, companies could build larger valves, longer barrels, high-capacity reservoirs, and platforms for heavier projectiles. That created a domestic specialty in high-output hunting airguns. AirForce Airguns provides the example. The AirForce Texan combines a long barrel, a large high-pressure reservoir, and a direct flow system designed to release substantial air behind a heavy projectile. In supported configurations, that architecture can produce energy measured in the hundreds of foot-pounds. The result is an air rifle designed for lawful hunting applications far beyond backyard plinking or small game use. That output carries a cost. A powerful big bore consumes more air per shot, produces fewer useful shots from a fill, and places greater demands on compressors and support equipment. It can also sacrifice the quiet, compact experience that attracts many shooters to airguns. American engineering accepted those trade-offs in exchange for performance that other manufacturing cultures were not prioritizing. The United States also has range at the opposite end of the market. Crosman, now part of Velocity Outdoor, and Daisy helped build generations of entry-level shooters through BB guns, multi-pump pneumatics, carbon dioxide models, and affordable sporting rifles. That creates an unusual industrial span, from simple training and recreational products to specialized big-bore hunting platforms. Market size strengthens everything around those manufacturers. A large customer base supports ammunition developers, custom parts, compressors, optics, competitions, retailers, and independent testing. It also draws foreign brands into competition, giving American shooters access to every airgun design philosophy. But market dominance is not the same as manufacturing dominance. The American industry is broad and commercially powerful, yet it does not hold the same leadership in Olympic match rifles, electronic valve control, or modular barrel technology that defines the top three. Its signature achievement is range, especially at the big bore extreme. That combination earns the United States number 4. It can introduce a beginner to a simple BB gun and serve an experienced hunter with a specialized PCP, but the next 3 countries exert a more concentrated influence on advanced airgun engineering. Which matters more to you in an airgun industry? Affordable access, extreme power, or precision engineering? Keep it in mind. Number 3 is Sweden, a country whose position comes largely from one manufacturer that changed how shooters think about barrels, tuning, and modular PCP design. FX Airguns was founded in 1999 by Fredrik Axelsson in Mariestad. Sweden's modern influence is concentrated in this company, making its technical impact clear, but its national manufacturing base comparatively narrow. The most important contribution is the Smooth Twist X barrel system. Traditional rifling is commonly cut, buttoned, or formed inside the bore. FX developed a process that forms rifling from outside the thin liner. The result is a smooth internal surface with the twist needed to stabilize a projectile while limiting unnecessary deformation. More importantly, the liner is replaceable. Owners can choose profiles developed for conventional Diabolo pellets or heavier slugs without replacing the entire rifle. That system changed the barrel from a fixed component into part of a tuning ecosystem. On compatible platforms, a caliber change can involve replacing the liner or barrel assembly with the required probe and magazine components. The rifle can then be configured around another projectile class or purpose. Models in the Impact family made this modular philosophy visible worldwide, while later platforms carried it into competition and field configurations. Barrel modularity is only one layer. Selected FX platforms combine adjustable regulators, hammer control, large plenums, and carbon fiber air bottles. Each manages a different part of the firing cycle. The regulator controls pressure delivered for a shot. The plenum stores regulated air. Hammer adjustment changes how the valve is driven. Together, they let an experienced owner balance velocity, consistency, projectile weight, and air consumption instead of accepting one fixed factory setup. That adjustability has consequences. It creates enormous potential for shooters who understand tuning, but it also adds complexity. More controls mean more relationships to manage, and a poor combination can waste air or reduce consistency. Sweden's best products reward technical engagement rather than complete simplicity. Sweden reaches number 3 because FX helped normalize interchangeable liners, user-adjustable power systems, and platform-based PCP design across the premium market. Its weakness is industrial breadth. One exceptional company does not create the same manufacturing depth as an ecosystem of major producers. Now the ranking enters its final contrast. Can a nation built around digital valve control and historic barrel making defeat the country whose precision culture shaped nearly every category of airgun? Next, attention moves to the United Kingdom. Number 2 is the United Kingdom, where legal limits on ordinary air rifles helped drive an advanced combination of efficiency, electronics, and barrel making. British manufacturers could not rely on unlimited muzzle energy to distinguish products. They had to extract consistency from a controlled air supply. That pressure encouraged efficient valves, refined regulators, compact hunting rifles, and eventually digital control of the firing cycle. Daystate represents the electronic frontier. On the Alpha Wolf and Delta Wolf, an electronically managed solenoid controls valve, timing more precisely than a conventional spring and hammer arrangement can easily provide. The duration of that event influences how much air is released. Electronic control can therefore manage velocity without depending entirely on fixed mechanical settings. Daystate's advanced velocity technology pushes the concept further. An integrated chronograph measures projectile speed, while onboard controls work around a selected velocity target. Instead of keeping chronograph testing separate from the rifle, the platform brings velocity information into the system. Owners get faster feedback when matching a pellet or slug, along with a digital foundation for different power profiles where regulations and configurations permit. Electronics are only half of the British case. BSA provides manufacturing depth. At Armory Road in Birmingham, the company produces cold hammer forged barrels by forming a drilled steel blank around a rifling mandrel under repeated pressure. The method creates the bore and rifling through controlled deformation rather than cutting each groove. Its value is repeatability. Consistent barrel dimensions and twist give a manufacturer a stable foundation for accuracy across a production run. BRK, formerly Brocock, adds compact PCP platforms and practical field design to the same national ecosystem. Together, these companies give Britain unusual range. It can produce the barrel, design the mechanical rifle around it, and develop electronic systems that change how its valve operates. This breadth matters because the innovation is supported by domestic production. There are trade-offs. Electronic rifles add batteries, software, interfaces, and additional layers of operating complexity. They offer adjustment and feedback that purely mechanical designs cannot match. But some owners prefer a simpler rifle that can be maintained without digital systems. British premium manufacturing also tends to serve buyers willing to pay for that engineering. The United Kingdom earns number 2 because its influence is historic and forward-looking. BSA preserves an industrial barrel-making tradition, while Daystate explores what happens when a PCP becomes partly an electronic system. That pairing is more than a collection of successful brands. It is a complete manufacturing argument. The United Kingdom takes number 2. Only the winner remains. Number 1 is Germany. It wins because no other country in this ranking combines the same depth across competition rifles, spring piston engineering, trigger systems, recoil control, manufacturing history, and recognizable specialist brands. And Germany's advantage is not maximum muzzle energy. It is repeatability. The 7.5 joule limit for license-free airguns forced manufacturers to compete through mechanical consistency, efficient power use, refined ergonomics, and control before a pellet leaves the barrel. German engineering concentrated on reducing variables rather than adding more air or a heavier projectile. Feinwerkbau represents the competition side. Its 800 and 900 series rifles use regulated PCP systems, rigid aluminum or laminated wood structures, and ergonomic adjustment for target shooting. These platforms are designed around positional consistency. When the stock, grip, cheek piece, trigger, and air delivery can be fitted and repeated, the shooter spends less effort adapting to the rifle. Weihrauch provides different proof. The HW77 and HW97 underlever rifles with brake barrel models such as the HW35 and HW50S demonstrate how far a traditional spring piston system can be refined. The record 2-stage trigger gives the shooter an adjustable, predictable release, instead of treating the trigger as an inexpensive supporting part. A consistent release reduces one more human disturbance at the moment of the shot. Diana adds another chapter. The Model 60 used an opposing piston system to counter movement created by the main piston. By balancing those forces, the design reduced recoil behavior, normally associated with a spring-powered match rifle. It was a mechanical solution built specifically to control spring-piston physics. Germany also benefits from breadth. Sweden reached number 3 largely through the modular influence of FX Airguns. Germany spreads its influence across several historic manufacturers and multiple operating systems. Britain earned number 2 through electronic valve control and cold hammer forged barrels. Germany connects elite match production, mechanical triggers, spring piston refinement, recoil cancellation, and manufacturing knowledge within one ecosystem. That breadth also defines the limitation. German airguns are not automatically the best choice for shooters seeking extreme big-bore energy, extensive electronic menus, or maximum user tuning. Precision-focused products can also demand more investment than basic mass-market rifles. Germany wins as the most developed manufacturing industry, not as the universal answer for every buyer. What separates Germany from the other 6 countries is the completeness of its contribution. Spain expanded access. Turkey disrupted price. China supplied scale. The United States pursued power. Sweden normalized modularity. Britain advanced electronic control. Germany built a durable foundation across competition, mechanics, manufacturing, and brand depth, covering both mechanical and pneumatic platforms. That total package earns number 1. Germany takes the top position because this ranking rewards manufacturing depth, influence, brand strength, and engineering across multiple airgun categories. Its advantage is industrial completeness, not one record-setting rifle. Every country contributes something different. Your choice may depend on whether you value German precision, British electronics, Swedish modularity, American power, Spanish accessibility, Turkish value, or Chinese production scale. Which country's industry has influenced the airguns you use the most? Share your choice below. Subscribe for more evidence-based airgun rankings, and I will see you in the next one.